This message is intended to inform the community about school funding and how Spring Branch ISD arrived at the financial crossroads where we are today. During the past 60 years, the Spring Branch community has shaped the priorities for many district and trustee decisions, from small class sizes to quality services and programming and a conservative approach to taxes. Our community has always defined what it means to be a premier system for public education in our area. Along with setting the bar for educational excellence, outstanding programming, and a solid return on the community's investment, SBISD has a long history of employing and valuing great educators. We know top educators assure top outcomes for kids. The district believes it is critical to maintain its position as an employer of choice, a position more difficult to sustain today, as some local suburban districts receive more state funding than Spring Branch. Spring Branch ISD maintains two tax-supported funds, a debt service fund that finances bonds for long-term capital improvements, such as new schools, and the general or maintenance and operations fund, which pays for ongoing regular costs of operating the school district, including payroll, which is 85% of the budget. This video concerns the general fund. In 2007, the Texas legislature gave homeowners a property tax cut. Legislators promised to make up the difference to local districts through a business franchise tax. At the same time, the legislature capped the maximum tax rate that districts could levy. That model created some serious challenges for public education. Local school boards are now limited in their ability to raise or adjust revenue to meet increased costs, whether due to inflation, unfunded mandated programs, competition, growth, or other factors. Additionally, local districts receive no new revenue from the state to pay for increased costs, and as local tax values increase, revenue from the state actually goes down. The legislature's funding formula effectively deprives local school districts of fully benefiting from local property value growth. In the spring 2011 legislative session, SBISD's funding for the next biennium, or two-year period, was reduced by $37 million as part of a statewide $5.4 billion reduction for public education. District leadership has been able to soften the impact of state funding reductions on our classrooms by using our fund balance, which is a reserve fund that operates like a savings account. SBISD trustees have a policy to maintain a fund balance of 19% of expenditures. The district is projected to fall below this level to 13% at the end of next year, the 2017-18 school year. In 2013, the Texas legislature provided partial relief, returning about 33% or a third of reduced funding to Spring Branch ISD. However, SBISD remains at a disadvantage compared to other local districts who saw an increase in state funding for both the 2013-14 school year and the 2014-15 school year. Spring Branch, however, saw a smaller increase than other districts in the first year and a significant decrease in funding for 2014 and 15. The SBISD tax rate has remained at 1.3945 since 2010. Though your SBISD tax payment may increase because of higher property values, SBISD continues to send millions of dollars in district property tax revenue to the state for redistribution because we are classified as a Robin Hood district based on our property wealth per student. Yet under federal guidelines, more than half our students, 57%, qualify for free or reduced price lunch benefits. Besides the millions of dollars SBISD sends to the state for Robin Hood, the state's funding formula penalizes Spring Branch for its property wealth. This year, SBISD estimates that our taxpayers will write checks totaling an additional $30 million in taxes. Yet we pay $36 million more in recapture, and the state sends us $5 million more for a net funding reduction of $1 million. In summary, we feel it is misleading for local taxpayers to write checks to our local school district when the majority of the funds attributable to value growth actually benefit the bottom line of the state's budget. It's wrong that Spring Branch is penalized compared to neighboring districts. We think that puts us at a competitive disadvantage, specifically for class size and teacher pay. The current school funding model punishes local districts, and especially Spring Branch, when appraised values increase. While the average Texas school district receives 41% of its funding through the state, property-wealthy Spring Branch receives only 7% of its funding from the state. What can SBISD taxpayers do at this financial crossroad? We ask that you stay engaged during the upcoming legislative session. You can write and call your state legislators and the education committees in both chambers. You can look for local advocacy groups. Regularly visit the SBISD website at springbrancisd.com for updates. You can also engage with us on Facebook or Twitter at SBISD #SBCrossroads, or email us at schoolfinance@springbrancisd.com.